We're black rebels, searching for freedom, trying to break these chains from my mind, trying to find the king that lies inside.
So this is episode 2 of the Sit Down Podcast.
Right.
And my second guest, who I'm super excited about, is Dwight Sutton. And from my end, you were an interesting guy to me either way, right? But when you threw in the Navy SEAL thing, was like, what in the world? So, from my end, you're quietly one of the most interesting people possible, and a total Renaissance man.
No.
Let me say this.
Did I tell you?
No.
Or did someone else tell you
Tell me what?
what I did in the Navy?
You did.
I
You
did?
told me
I
at a
opened my
gig.
mouth?
You
Really?
opened your mouth specifically.
Wow.
So this man, I know I'm probably only grazing the surface, but it's okay, number one, youth advocate, because I work with the YAP program, right? So
Uh-huh.
you were youth advocate, a Berkeley trumpet player, which is a serious thing, a SEAL, a tennis guy, an engineer. What am I missing? Just in the big picture.
Father, grandfather.
Absolutely. Yeah. What
I
am
was
I
going to
missing?
say whore. But I said
You already said it. So
but those days are done.
listen. So it's you're a really interesting guy. And do you look at yourself as an interesting guy? Because you're not. You would never know that unless you would have to dig to get that from you. You just come across like this. This is Dwight, trumpet player, and
No,
you would
I
never.
don't. I look at it as music was planned.
Mm-hmm.
I was failing in music. And then the plan switched to the Navy.
Okay.
And that was Navy music, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Got you.
I went in as a musician.
That makes a lot more sense because I
Yeah.
didn't know that
Yeah.
specifically, but that makes sense.
Yeah, I switched out
Right.
because me and the protocol at the time, if I had a better vision, that's where I should have stayed.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so random.
Yeah, but I didn't see the I just thought the grass was going to be greener after the Navy.
Okay.
But I did have the vision of I'm getting ready to go back to the same thing I left.
Okay.
All right. All I still know how to do is play this trumpet.
Sure.
I was getting the stories, even though my childhood friend that I grew up with had taken over the Tonight Show.
Really?
Yeah, Kevin. He had taken over the Tonight Show. Bradford, the steward in his lap, take this, please. I can't stand this Jay Leno dude.
Right.
I can't laugh at him, all that stuff. But so Kevin took it, but he says, man, I can't fire my trumpet player,
Right.
this, that, and the other.
Right.
Even if I would consider it, it still would be time before that transition could happen. So I was like, damn. All I know is this trumpet again. I'm
Huh.
stuck again. Even though I had to go back because PIAP was before
PIAP.
the Navy. That's what do you call it? What's it called now in Delaware?
Oh, the YAP program.
YAP program.
Yeah.
In Philly, it was Philadelphia Youth Advocate Program. PIAP.
Got you. But it did start in Harrisburg, right?
Yes,
We're talking
yes,
about. Okay,
yes,
it's the same thing.
That's where the branch meetings were, Harrisburg.
Right.
Where Christmas party was always in Harrisburg. But
For how long did you do that?
I graduated in '79. It was my first job.
So you're fresh out of school, 22 years old or so.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I went straight, boom, home. First job was PIAP,
Okay.
which is another eye awakening of this piece of paper is almost irrelevant, except PIAP liked it.
PIAP, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So take me back. So you're born. Were you born in Philly?
Mm-hmm.
You're born and raised Philly guy, right? And this was you. Do you consider yourself like a child of the '60s, more or less? Right? Is that kind of what we're talking about? More '70s.
Born in '56.
You're born in '56, so it's kind of playing a little bit tight.
Yeah.
But so, can you just sort of describe like your background coming up in Philly at that time, like kind of your family and what it was like at that point for you? Like, cause you went to like an accelerated high school, what were
Programs,
you?
yeah.
What, so, okay.
I had a spoon-fed.
Cool,
upbringing.
but obviously, just based upon the couple of things that I listed at the beginning, you're obviously a highly intelligent person. You have to be. You don't do those things without being, right? So, were you when?
I thought you thought I was a grunt.
No, I just didn't know. I didn't know. But like, was there a point? Have you ever in your own head kind of said like, all right, I'm a little bit different, or I'm like, I'm smarter than a lot of people, or like, when did it was it recognized in you? You know what I'm saying?
Complete opposite.
Okay.
Because of the schooling, I always had to push.
Okay.
Because of who I was around.
Who were you around?
Private school white kids.
Yeah, no, that's me. I went to Tower. Listen,
went to
that's
Tally?
me. No, I went to Tower Hill School. Do you know
Okay,
what Tower
yeah.
in Wilmington?
Yeah.
So from the time that I was 4
Yeah.
to 18, nothing but private school white kids.
Yeah.
And then I went to Morehouse because enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I used to be a recruiter down there, so I know most of the schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I was a Navy recruiter at Dilly. I had all those schools.
When did you start on the trumpet?
Oh, I was 8.
So young.
Yeah.
I didn't get. I didn't start to sing until very late, like 20.
Yeah. 8 years old, going to Settlement almost immediately.
Okay.
Settlement Music School was like, back then, was the predominant. There was no clef clubs or any of that.
Okay.
Alternatives. Settlement was the place you went if you wanted to be have a technical background.
Okay. So did you want to play trumpet, or your parents were like?
Yeah, I ran around, but crazy story there too. My uncle, my mom's older brother,
Okay.
pretty much forced my parents to go buy me a trumpet. I had this little plastic thing, but I could play tunes on it.
So he was like,
So I would just sit out. Yeah, he was over, and him and Dad were doing their drinking thing, the Jack Daniels thing. And listen to that boy playing tunes,
Yeah.
Get him a darn trumpet. You got him running with this plastic thing, So, they did.
Okay. Is anybody else in your family musical? No.
Not one.
Interesting.
No one.
And you just like what was it that brought you to the trumpet? Did you like see who was it? Was it like
My early idols, if I'm remembering right, it was either Herb Albert or Hugh Masekela. And who had the TV?
at 8?
Yeah, and it was somebody had a TV show that I gravitated to. Al Hurt
Okay.
had the Al Hurt hour, and he was a trumpet player.
Most people at 8 just want to watch cartoons. They don't.
Man, I used to sit there, not at 8, but after I had a little proficiency, not much. I could play my scales. I could sit and try to play stuff I heard on TV,
Okay.
like commercials and stuff like that.
Sure.
Like I knew my big challenge, the song that always challenged me, that I wanted to play it, even though I couldn't, it just kicked my butt, was the Flintstones.
Really?
I wanted to play that so bad, like to sit there and
There's
scuffle.
a lot of range there,
scuff-
right?
It's,
Now that I'm thinking
it's one of
about
the
it.
best big band songs that out, man.
I never even thought of that.
It's a straight up big band song. Neil Hefty's big band. I think it's Neil Hefty, if I remember.
I never. I mean, I.
Yeah, I just sit there and like, listen to them trumpets go. So
when I heard the Flintstones as a normal kid, I thought those are the Flintstones, and look at them funny feet and the funny cartoon. You're hearing a big band.
Like, wow, listen to them go.
No, I just realized that today at the age of 43.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, you just changed
listen
my
to that.
perception of the Flintstones.
Music and cartoons back then was like unbelievable.
No,
The arrangements that they were doing, just out of this world. If you go back,
The fucking Flintstones.
if you could pull that stuff up, listen to those bands.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I'm listening in my head
Yeah,
as you
yes,
say that,
just
and I'm like,
ridiculous.
fuck yeah. And I
Even
do.
solos.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. At the end of the Flintstones is when you can hear solos. But before they get to the end, that section,
Right.
it's literally the sax solo that's like off the charts.
I'm sure I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home and watch the
Yeah.
Flintstones tonight.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's really funny. So that's where your first, like, it was like, what is that sound? And I want to make
I want to
that
do that.
sound.
I want to do that. I literally wanted, from a kid, I wanted to be in a big band until I started getting information, like Neil Hefti, all that, till my idea of a job was Johnny Carson's big band.
Sure. Okay.
That was like, that's a target. I
Okay.
want to be in Johnny Carson's big band.
And you're thinking this around age 12 or so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm
okay.
looking, that's.
So you get that trumpet, and we get like 4 years later. So what kind of stuff are you like? Okay, because I don't really know what the sort of track is for like a musician at that age, especially during that time. So you get the trumpet, you take some lessons. Where do you start taking lessons?
Settlement Music School.
Settlement Music School, which is probably like Christina Cultural Arts in Wilmington, something like that kind of a thing.
Similar, except Settlement has branches. So you got a West Philly branch.
Okay.
You got South. I think it's a South Philly branch and the Germantown branch.
But
I lived in North Philly then, at 8,
okay,
and I took lessons at the Germantown branch.
okay. So you start taking your lessons, and the teacher's like, "Oh, this kid's got some ability, right?"
I don't know if Mr. Herring even looked at it. He was the second chair at the Philly Orchestra. At the time,
Wow.
Philly Orchestra was the staff at the Settlements.
So you're learning classically.
Classical.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it was straight don't play. I don't want to hear. Well, this is after I graduated from Mr. Herring. He like took all the beginners. Excuse me. Once you got to a certain proficiency, you got turned over to the principal trumpet of the Philly Orchestra, who was Sigmund Herring.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Herring was straight German, rigid.
Yeah. 9.
You will not play that shit. I don't want to. He didn't curse, but
Yeah.
you're not.
Yeah.
Don't bring that here.
Right.
You know, so I would come in like, I want to learn Grazing in the Grass.
Right.
The original version that I heard was Hugh Masekela.
Right.
I got the sheet music.
And he's like, nah. So, okay. Damn, there's a whole lot even right there. But first, were there any jazz schools or way to take jazz? Nothing.
That's why when I said there was no clef clubs
Yeah.
that I was aware of.
Okay.
Now, not blaming my parents for not knowing, but they just wasn't their
Why would they
thing,
know?
and they
Yeah.
didn't push to cultivate that
Yeah.
in me.
If my kid comes home and say they play polo, I have no idea what the
But
fuck I can do. Yeah.
I think you would have done a little more homework
Maybe.
than just like you're taking these lessons here,
Right.
and shut up,
Okay.
Boise.
Yes. I was going to get there.
I could have been, you know, that
So
would
that
have been
actually
that would have been a drive, but
Were you aware of him at that time?
no, heck, I didn't know of Boise until
And that speaks a lot of
after
his
the
legacy.
after the Navy.
Wow.
That's when I found out about him.
That says a
You
lot
know,
about
well,
him.
no, I was at Berkeley, and that's when I got exposed to. Well, I was already exposed to him, but really started trying to study improvisation, and I end up in the same boat though at Berkeley.
They want you to do classical.
Not classical, but
But okay, at that point, what if it's not classical? What else is straight ahead like that? Like, what would you be playing?
Things like the Boston Pops, Philly Pops, stuff with a little more flavor to it. Not so much geared to one of the orchestras, but more so some stuff that I didn't have a problem with, you know. So at the time, Valley Forge was still going, theater gigs, things like that, where you had to play multiple genres, you know, and just a lead trumpet player, which was what they because of my strengths, that's where they were pushing me anyway. That was my strength. So improv wasn't. I had a good embouchure. I could hit some notes in the upper register. So it was boom. And then at the time, Berkeley had, if you were getting a degree, which a lot of people don't realize, most people that go to Berkeley don't even go into the degree program. They go in the certificate program where you don't have to take academics.
Still today?
I think so.
Okay,
think
I
it's
have no
still the
idea.
same. When
Yeah.
I was there, I was in the degree program, so I had to study with this guy, Reka Tweeka.
Where was he from?
I don't know. He was American.
Okay.
But I don't know what his nationality, but that was his name, Reka Tweeka. He was the chairman of the brass department.
Okay.
I had to study with him because I was getting a degree.
Mm-hmm.
He had no idea about improvisation.
How is that possible?
Zipper, isn't that crazy?
Because you like Duke Ellington and all those people have been around. Louis Armstrong is there.
He didn't care about it. He was more concerned. I used to go through lessons with this dude
I don't understand. It's just
week after week after week, where I wouldn't even touch my trumpet. I would go. And he would put a streamer up.
right. This is
And
like
a little-
Mr. Miyagi.
And a little, and a little, like, what is that? 2-inch straw with
Right.
a streamer on it. And I had to get the streamer to go
Right.
without gushing air, get this pinpoint,
Wow.
things like that.
Like a ninja.
Now, they're beneficial.
Sure.
They're very beneficial, but at that point, my idol was Freddie Hubbard.
Right. I mean, that's a real.
Yeah, that's I wanted to get around, and I'm begging. I mean, literally begging. Look, some of these ensembles that I'm in,
Mm-hmm.
can we drop one for a lesson with Jeff Stout or Greg Hopkins? These were the two jazzers that they had on staff at the time.
What year is this about?
This is 75, 76,
That's just
77,
fucking
78.
weird.
Yeah.
I mean, we are well into Charlie Parker. We are
Well,
in-
the school is based. Berkeley's based on that.
Then,
But if you were a trumpet player, that's what you ended up. If you were in the degree program, and they put you in that bubble, that Dwight is this. We need to build those strengths. He's going to end up playing in the theater somewhere.
right.
He's a good sight reader. This, that, and the other. This is what we need to strengthen. These attributes that he, I guess you could say, naturally had.
Right.
But or what
I've
they
never
taught.
considered that kind of a struggle for like a horn player, especially it doesn't seem like it. Like if you'd have told me it was 1930, okay, I kind of get it. But in the 60s and 70s to have that, it's almost.
Well, you can also blame, not blame, but throw in the mix the environment of what. No one grabbed me from the streets. I was playing in the R&B bands, cover bands.
Okay. So
Back
that's,
then.
that's fun, right? You're able to,
No, it was fun, yeah.
and you can improvise and have a. It's not straight.
It wasn't
jazz,
too much.
though,
Wasn't too much improvisation. It was straight.
playing the lines that they wrote.
You played the lines that you heard on the record.
Okay, right. Right.
If they were difficult, you put your penny on the record to slow it down and to learn it.
Did you know that about the putting the penny? Sam, I know you're not in the pocket, but did you hear about you put the penny on the record to slow it down? Have you ever heard something like that before?
Put it actually on the.
Yeah,
On the record.
to slow it down. You put the pennies on there. Boom, and you stack them till you get it to where you need it.
Actually on the arm, right?
Huh?
On the arm.
You can do that way
Yeah,
too.
But you
Yeah,
put it on
the
a
arm,
record,
But I always put mine actually on the disc.
and it would slow it
I
down.
do on the arm, but
Yeah,
not on the disc.
yeah, and it would slow it down.
Huh. I get. Okay. Cool. So
Now,
I'm not,
what's different than what we have now, where
Where you
it stays in pitch.
right.
It would change. It would change the key.
Yeah,
Then
absolutely.
you had to. But once you got the notes, then you would
Transcribe
try-
it and-
back,
right,
back,
okay.
you get it back.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's wild. So, where did you get the education on improvising and soloing? Did you kind of do that on your own?
I still can, man.
Okay,
I'll
but
be
I mean, what
scuffling.
you do? I mean,
I'll be scuffling. I do it. I scuffle. I was fortunate. Berkeley got this guy, Ray Copeland. to come on staff. He literally did 2 albums with Coltrane.
Okay, so he's a real deal.
Yeah, he was Randy Weston's as a keyboard
walk
player.
into the school like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, how do y'all not have?
That's how I got lessons with him.
Okay.
He came in.
Like, come on.
And we had a big band. You know Jawanza.
I do.
Jawanza Kobe.
From where?
Delaware.
I'm terrible.
All right.
I know Boise. Damn it.
Yeah. no, Jawanza's a few years older than me. I think Jawanza might be like 66, 67.
I almost guarantee you,
Yeah.
I've probably met him and seen
Yeah.
him because I'm so terrible
Yeah,
with names.
he does the Clifford Brown.
Okay.
Every year. As a matter of fact, I'm on a CD.
Okay.
But Jawanza, we had a big band. It was all brothers, except for one white guy.
Okay.
And you might have heard of the sax player. The one white guy that was accepted was Eric Marienthal.
I know that name.
Yeah.
Somehow. How the hell do I know that name?
He's
Okay.
world known.
Okay, there it is. Okay, okay,
alto
okay.
player.
Cool.
Eric was the one. He had an honorary card,
Got you.
and he was in this big band.
Yep.
So Ray, when he came on, he noticed this big band, and he coveted us.
Right.
Came in, he would give us charts to play, and he would give Jawanza some guidance on this, that, and the other. And when they put him on full-time at staff there at Berkeley, he went in and said, he's going to take a lesson with me.
Okay.
Right? They only lasted 1 semester, though.
Okay.
Then I had to pay
Wow.
outside. He only lasted there 2 semesters.
'Cause he was like, this is
said,
ridiculous.
Like, this place is not
Like-
what I thought it was be. He left.
Because I don't know what the situation is there now, but I feel like they're on the edge of things at this point. But I could be wrong. I just don't know. I just kind of maybe I'm assuming, but that's surprising to hear though.
Did you know that all the big names that you hear attended Berkeley?
Yeah, like Quincy Jones is a Berkeley guy, and he was on the edge of things. So
Yeah,
I don't.
okay.
That's
But let me enlighten you to something.
yes, please.
Most of those big names that you associate with Berkeley,
Yes.
they didn't graduate.
Okay. I did know that.
Yeah, most graduates,
Hmm.
like myself, they have the piece of paper.
Oh no.
No,
Wait. So
I mean, even like I give you some horror stories, like Kevin Eubanks.
yeah.
He was my roommate,
Yeah. Oh,
So-
cool. Wow.
So Kevin doesn't play with a pick.
Okay.
The Berkeley method, you have to play with a pick. So they twisted his arm. You have to go into we can't give you a piece of paper,
Right.
a degree, so you can go into the certificate program, which is 4 years, almost the same money.
Oh man.
So you just got this diploma, diploma thing, not a degree.
That's a
And of course, he was like,
kick rocks.
yes.
Right? I mean,
I'm
come
not going to
on.
do that. I mean, they gave him an honorary now,
Yeah. Thanks.
I think he's got an honorary doctorate from him.
I mean, these guys figure it out, I guess, but
Yeah,
still, that's
This is way after the fact. He was on the Tonight Show 15 years when they gave him the doctorate. But
that's so weird.
that kind of stuff goes by.
So when you're in high school, were you by the time you're like, sophomore, junior year, were you automatically thinking I'm going, to school for music?
To the point, I almost didn't graduate.
Because
I
you're
was so
music.
defiant that I don't need this mess. I don't need this mess.
So
I don't need this mess.
Right. So how did they get decided that you were going to actually go to music school?
By that time, I was out like my 4th high school at Germantown. Another German. Now, he wanted me to go to Curtis, and he had it all set up. Dude, you're going to do this.
Wow.
Don't play that shit in here. And he would curse.
Okay. That's crazy.
He would yell at all of us. Kevin was in the trumpet section.
I just
A lot of good names was in that band. A lot of good names.
I have a really bad understanding of that time because it's just, to me, you think of the late 60s and early 70s, and it's just like everybody was hip. Everybody was cool. That's where the best music came from. So it's just hard to imagine that there are people who were still like...
Yeah, it's still people holding on.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Alter was one. He would not spin.
But like how
And
the
he was
fuck?
a huge German, too. Bald-head German. Played the hell out that clarinet, though. And one thing I will tell him though, even though he put his foot down, don't play that shit in here.
Mm-hmm.
One time I never forget, he snatched his clarinet out of somebody's hand. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
Like, pushing chairs on the way through the clarinet section to get to this one person.
Okay.
Snatched the clarinet out. Played one of the most beautiful riffs I ever heard.
Okay. Like this is how you do it.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But not here.
Huh. But
Do you understand?
because
not
we're maintaining
here.
this tradition.
Yeah.
And that's very German.
Yeah.
Like people
Yeah. Yeah.
But like how but okay, I get that. And I get the tradition, but I'm still in my head because and maybe just because I kind of grew up with it sort of behind me, if you will, but like how do you listen to Duke Ellington? Or how do you listen to Charlie Parker or all those geniuses and be like, shit, that's shit? Like, you're a musician. You hear what's going on. You understand that that is not some simple shit that they're doing. So how do you dismiss it like that? It's just unbelievable to me. You know, like, they're smart guys. Like,
You know how I interpreted it as the straight racist.
right. That's all I like,
That's how we took it.
There's no other way
down
to take it.
now, when he was saying that shit though, it was never that. The traditional stuff. It was always we were funking. We were playing some stuff we had to go play at the bar
that is a little different.
that night. Right.
That's different.
That's when he would
Okay.
stomp from the podium. I mean,
Because
and it
that's
was
pretty
funny about
simple
the dude.
stuff.
He's a huge dude too.
Right.
Huge.
What the
So
fuck, I'm
imagine
gonna
this
play
this
that. That's what I'm laughing at, but yeah.
that day, that's when we found out what he played. We didn't even know what he played.
Because he should have a fucking
Yeah.
something like.
We never knew his principal instrument was the clarinet. But he jumped down from the podium. I'm literally parting the seas of music stands to get to Clinton, Washington. That's what he was going after.
Because Clinton was playing something shitty or playing that.
He was
shit?
playing something on clarinet that we had to where he in the funk band he played tenor sax.
Okay.
He was going after Clinton
What the
for playing this stuff,
right.
and he was knocking stands. So we got back there, and the first thing he did was, he had heard it, and he knew what it should have been.
Right.
Not that he knew the song, he just knew that can't be right. It must be this.
Right. Right.
And we found out. I found out later. Mr. Alter had perfect pitch, so he knew the whole rick. As soon as he heard it, it translated to fingers to him.
Right. Right.
And he just went, and he played it right for him, like.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
So, he was pushing you to Curtis. How did you end up with Berkeley?
When I told him,
Like, I'm going to Berkeley.
I didn't tell him. At the time, didn't even have an application.
Okay.
Now he was he helped make it happen.
Okay.
When I said I went down there,
Okay.
and I went
Down to Curtis.
and I had a peer, Peter Lloyd, that was already there.
Okay.
And talking to Peter and on and on. I'm like, you know what? Went home, told my parents, like, I'm gonna mess up. Y'all want me to keep messing up? And they were like, no, you're finally acting right. I was real rebellious. I went through like a 2-year period of just.
And is that? I mean, was that outside of the normal teenage rebellion thing? Or
No, mine was bad. Mine was really bad.
Why? Any reason you think that was the case? Is just your personality, or was it?
Yeah, personality, loss.
Mm-hmm.
My dad he was supportive, but not supportive.
Of music.
Yeah.
What did they
of
want
music.
you to do?
He wanted me, because I'm good with math.
Yeah.
Go someplace.
Yeah.
Engineering or something like that.
Or-
And I was like,
Exactly, though. I get it,
you're right.
but.
And plus, I had another thing that was pulling at me. It was easy for us to make $200 a weekend.
Yeah.
When you're a high school student,
It's like this
and
is what
you're
I'm doing.
gigging. I mean, you could have walked up to me at 17 and said, Dwight, let me borrow $400. I could go in my sock drawer and peel out $400.
Wow.
Just had it. Because we worked every weekend. You remember there was no DJ.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
Bars had a band. You know, so it was always work. You were working. You were working.
Random question then. So, hypothetically, if that situation was still present today where we didn't have DJs, do you think that that would play a role in keeping some of the young kids from getting into drugs and that kind of shit? Because the way you talk, if you just breaking off, like, you can borrow some money from me, you know, like, you got
drugs.
money. Huh?
To buy drugs. Give me 400 so I can buy a pound.
Right.
I give it back to you. I'ma flip it.
Oh man,
I'ma flip it. Yo, man,
right.
give me 4. I found this guy that I mean, you could tell that number was in my head, and that's what you could get a pound
But
for.
that's a lot of money for somebody in that.
Yeah,
that's a whole
she
lot of
was.
money.
Yeah.
I
And that person literally flipped it, and I had it back in like 2 or
Right.
3 days.
I mean, people,
you know.
you know how hard it is now. Like, musicians, you know, don't make that much money at all now, and there might be in a lot.
We weren't either. We were getting exploited
Wow.
big time.
Because they made that much money off the night, and you're still getting paid.
Yeah, and you're still getting paid. You know, but when you're 16 and 17, and you're getting $75 a night, and you're there 3 nights. You know,
dude.
I just made $225 this weekend.
Dude.
I'm happy as woo.
Someone will ask me right now to play for 3 hours for $100.
Yeah,
And in
sure.
2020.
Yeah.
So go backwards.
Sure.
I mean, that's like
go back then.
how much? Like what's the
and all my
conversion?
peers, non-musicians, all my peers, if they had a job, it was Mickey D's and places
Right.
like that where they were.
Did you have a car?
I have many. I mean, not at the same time.
No,
but,
I
I
understand.
would wreck one, or just didn't do the maintenance on it, and I drove it in the ground, and
So I mean, from your end, like you said, like you're
Yeah.
good.
yeah.
That's
I mean,
pretty cool.
bands would buy used school buses. We had that would be our,
Right. And the girls
Yeah.
had to be like,
sure. I mean,
forget about it.
we made cots, beds in the back.
Wow,
You know,
that's crazy.
You know?
What a different. That's
Yeah.
so
It
different.
was just
I mean,
so
it's
different.
that's crazy and
Rock
fucking
star.
awesome.
Going
Huh.
downtown to the on South Street, there was a place that made bags and boots. It was nothing to go get $200 pair of boots made. Platform boots, different patchwork.
Yo, I should have asked you to bring pictures of you.
I wish
that
I had
time,
them all. I wish I had them,
because
man.
that would be crazy.
I wish I
Did you
had
have an
them.
afro? What was the hairstyle back then? Did you?
Mine wouldn't grow like,
You didn't let.
but my hair started growing after I retired.
The fuck?
Ain't that weird?
Yeah, it's weird.
You wouldn't believe how many people hit me on Facebook. Like, you didn't even have a big afro. What are you doing? Locks hanging down, it's almost to your butt.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Cause you never.
Well-
he used to have really long dreads. When he in the band with me, he had long dreads.
Really?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, but this new
He said one pop-
63-year-old thin, grayed out stuff here, it
Yeah,
just
you
wouldn't
came in
support it,
rehearsal,
wouldn't
like
hold it.
last night, one popped out
Yeah.
on the pillow, so I cut him. It's the funniest
But that
thing
was
I've heard.
that was a regular.
Yeah. No, I'm dead ass.
Yeah.
He came in rehearsal one day with his hair cut. We were like, damn. I remember that. And
Yeah.
you were like, one fell off on the pillow. And I said, that's it. I was like, I respect that. Fucking hilarious. That is crazy, though, how much music has changed. And I mean, I knew that it changed, but like, just to hear it from your end, like as a trumpet player, how much were the singers bringing home on a weekend? You know what I'm saying? Or was there equal pay?
It was
or?
always equal. It was back
was
then. It was
equal.
equal pay. That didn't start. I think like my senior year, where they started putting their foot down. Like they ain't coming to hear these now. Even though a lot of the bands were horn orientated, strong horn sections.
Right.
Breakwater was probably the one that wasn't the strongest horn-wise, even though it gravitated that way once they started recording.
Okay.
But the Sundown, the Pitch Blacks, I know that when they see this, I'm forgetting their names. They're going to have a fit. They're probably going to be see this. That would be a Germantown guy. Forget our name.
So,
Especially Wheezy.
Has he got back yet?
No,
I
he
can't
ain't
wait
back
to
yet.
get him on this 'cause he's gonna have some good stuff. But so okay, you
Brutus, the Brutuses and all that. They were strong horn bands. They were strong horn bands.
Okay, so you finish Berkeley, right? And you graduate, and where are you at that point? Like, where do you want to go? What's sort of available?
I wanted to go to New York. I did go.
Okay,
I did go, and that was
you just moved to New York, like I'm gonna get a
yeah,
gig, and
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. Duh. So that realization or reality kicked in like,
there were so many good players, or what?
just ridiculous. Not so many. Like rain,
Oh wow,
like rain, like
huh?
It was a reality check.
Okay,
Like, whoa. That thing that I was being molded to be,
right.
that's who I was. I wasn't the improv guy going in and sitting in at the after hour places and
Right.
trying to shit.
Right,
I had nothing to say.
because that's what
Some people solos, I was just like, never mind.
because that's what Miles Davis was, right? He was the guy. I mean, as an example, who like he went to Juilliard and had all that classic straight ahead
Yeah.
training, but still went off after hours to get that.
Yeah, right. And that environment, and from my understanding of his history, he could buy his way into the clique.
Because of his parents.
Yes.
Yes.
He could buy his way into, so he was accepted.
And
I mean, the story, it's written that they were pawing his horn. He had to go to the pawn shop and get his own horn back.
right. So they
In
like,
the
oh,
clique.
here come this rich
Yeah,
motherfucker.
come on.
Okay.
Listen to his early recordings.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Miles was,
But he learned.
well, yeah.
That's really.
And he was in that, engrossed in it. So
Huh.
it was cultivated.
But he didn't really get like his proverbial black card until he got to New York and made that transition. Is that fair to say, do you think?
He was in the, well, were you talking about his St. Louis days?
Yes.
When he was home?
Yes.
Or when he got to New York
When he got to New York.
as a student?
Yes.
Yeah. I think he blossomed after he dropped out and totally threw himself in it.
Right. Which is a big thing.
And they took him by the hand and walked him.
Uh-huh.
Because you can listen to those early recordings and hear the growth from one to the next to the next to the next. I mean, literally hear it.
Right. Which obviously speaks volumes about his.
I mean, even down to where I'm at right now at this stage.
What do you mean?
Walk, crawl, find money notes to the chord. Hell, cash and flash, blah, 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 a bunch
Right.
of notes. Walk. I'm literally had to pull myself back, and just say walk.
So that's a really interesting thing.
I think since I like the percussion stuff, I naturally can make a percussive type.
Right. You
Message.
Can keep simple notes, but
Yeah,
keep it rhythmic.
rhythmic.
Yes.
Yeah, I can think that I'm comfortable there, and every once in a while I can
And then start
do
to
some eighth notes and some 60. Every once in a blue moon, I'll.
So, as an artist, you are still trying to improve, always.
Yes.
Yes. So,
Yes.
what are you? Let's talk about that. Where are you now as an artist? Like, what are you working on? Like, what are you trying to grow with?
Like that. What's playing now?
Uh huh.
This whole. What do they call them when you got a bunch of songs in a
Like a
little
not a
file?
medley. Yes, your playlist.
Yes.
Yes.
This playlist is literally solos to learn.
Ah.
That's what's playing now. My solos that I want to learn. They got that app that does the pennies for you.
Mm-hmm.
Except it keeps it in the original pitch.
How much do you see the actual? That's what I was going to ask you. How much do you see the notes in your head when you're listening to it?
I see colors. I'm not
Okay.
a note in the head.
Okay. I don't know.
I see colors.
Because you're pretty fast with the arrangements. I mean, you know what I mean?
I'm not too bad.
So I think that that's a really. I just want to kind of sit on that point for a second because the thing that frustrates me personally about like modern and just pop music is like the idea of youth is king, and any real artist understands that you get better and better and better over time as long as you don't mess up your instrument in some way,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's a
And
constant
stay
growth
open.
right?
and don't stay in the box.
Yeah. But I love the fact that you're where you are, and you're still thinking.
Oh, I know who I am. I mean,
But that's really cool. I think a lot of people are just like, well, this is what I do.
yeah. No,
But if you're still
I
trying
know
to-
who I am, and I know why some people hire me over some other more talented players.
Mm-hmm.
Is because I can keep a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
I can play a part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to be
Right.
cash and flash soloist.
Mm-hmm.
I know what this idiom requires,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of young trumpet players that can kill some solos
Right.
all over the place.
Right.
Beautiful.
Right. So
Their attitude stinks up the joint, where even though they're not coming in with that forethought, the subconscious, I think,
we've
gives them
seen
an
that
air.
with singers personally, even
Yeah,
between us.
yeah,
so I
where
get it.
they wear out their welcome because they're not 100% of understanding. And it is a shame that the more proficient you are in, not saying improv ability is the genre that should be. It musically, yes, it is. That and classical music, they're up there.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yes, they're there. It was just unfortunate that the jazz side doesn't pay the bills. Even
Right.
those that are the bomb. I mean, they're it. They I hope he doesn't kick me in the butt. I actually take lessons from one of my peers' younger brother, Dwayne Eubanks. I take lessons from Dwayne.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And Dwayne looks at me when I get paid a CTO and goes, "What?
What do you mean?
He can barely make that on these jazz gigs."
Yeah, no, listen, I have learned to greatly appreciate.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel blessed to be in the situation
Yes.
that I am.
Yeah.
I'll leave
It
at
is.
that.
It is. It's a good thing.
Right.
And at the same token, it's so sad when I look at
Yes.
somebody that I marveled at that young man's playing. You know, I was like, damn. Some of his passages that he gets on a ride on, I be like listening to it like, holy crap.
Yeah. I mean.
You know, and make that even funnier. Guess who put the trumpet voice in his head? Me.
Okay. That's crazy.
In his basement,
That's what he's.
him a little kid, he at the top of the stairs
Hearing
in
you
the basement,
loud as
hearing, I like that sound.
Isn't that crazy? That is
Ain't it?
crazy.
When he told me that, I'm like, what? He said, yeah, man, you put the trumpet sound in my head.
That's great. That's beautiful, though. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Wow. So, how the fuck did you end up in Yap? With the what do you call it? FIAP?
PIAP.
PIAP, yeah,
Philadelphia Youth Advocate Program.
Right. So we have
Yeah.
that in common. We
Yeah.
have music, but we like you were one of the first youth
Yeah.
advocates for the Yap
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
I do that now.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved with that? How did you go from Berkeley to there?
That was after New York.
Okay. Okay.
Let me get my ass home.
How long after New York?
Months.
Months. You're like, oh.
It didn't take long at all, man.
Okay.
It'd be 2:00 in the morning jam sessions, and somebody like Freddie Hubbard would come in, my idol.
Right.
You know, I'm sitting there like, Negro, why are you in here?
So your next thought is I'm gonna work with kids?
Huh?
Your next thought is I'm gonna work with kids?
No.
Like badass
No,
kids?
no. I came home,
Okay.
and I was job searching.
Okay.
Who accepts this piece of paper? You know? What can I do with this piece of paper?
I have a degree.
Yeah, I got a degree in applied classical trumpet.
Right.
That's the other oxymoron.
Right.
From Berkeley School of Music, applied classical trumpet. I think it was the following year after no. The national, what is it called? The National Accreditation of blah, blah, blah,
Nice.
that says you can give a degree
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
and your curriculum is blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was a year in front of it,
Oh, wow.
behind it,
Right.
coming.
Right.
So I couldn't get it. Year behind me, could get it.
Totally different.
In
ballgame.
jazz
Right.
or whatever,
Damn,
yeah.
That's crazy.
Even though only time I played any classical, the
Right.
entire 4.5 years was my end of every semester recital.
Okay.
Only time
Okay.
to do this recital
Okay.
to this empty auditorium with just staff.
Wow.
But that's how that worked. But New York was an eye awakener. Just like,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in the clique, so I couldn't get into the cover band scene yet.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't afford to wait at New York prices.
Mm-hmm.
So put 12 between my legs and came home.
Mm.
So I'm looking for a job, and damn, I can't remember who it was. Like,
Was
hey,
it suggested it to you?
yeah, like go down there on Allegheny Avenue, put your resume in, and see what happens.
Really?
Yeah, and boom, I got hired,
Okay.
and
Had you worked with kids at all before?
never
Okay.
had no clue what to do. So we hung out. I had 2 clients right away.
Okay.
We did a lot of hanging out,
Yeah.
and
Do
but
you
it
remember-
clicked immediately though. It clicked immediately. Like, oh,
Hmm.
you know,
Do
the
you-
first mess up in school, like, oh, I got to do this with this dude. Like, boom,
Uh-huh.
yo, man, that ain't gonna work. We got to do this, you know.
Did they
like,
listen to you?
Huh?
Did they pay
Yeah,
attention?
eventually, you know, they did. I mean, initially, I got to add another intangible in here.
Okay.
Like you say, I don't look my age.
Right.
Imagine me then.
Okay.
So when I'm in my early 20s,
You look like a little kid.
I look like I was 15.
So I am listening to you.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So I went through that kind of mess,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But
Do you remember the backgrounds of any of the kids you're working with?
Yeah.
What were their stories? Like, I'm curious. To know. I'm interested in
the
how.
worst crap you can think of, bro.
There's not much.
You
has
don't.
changed.
Nothing's changed. That's what.
That's the
What,
most frustrating.
what did I
part.
say to you in that
Yep.
text?
Yes.
Nothing's
shit.
changed. So sad. Just sad. Every damn one of them. I mean, just sad.
Right.
You know.
Were those kids? I mean, was it just as easy to get your hands on a gun at that time as it is now? For a kid.
I can't answer that knowledgeably.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Because I mean, the kids I work with, it's just like you can just.
They weren't as plentiful. I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think. I think now is a whole new
Mm-hmm.
ball game. Nor do I think they were as quick to want to shoot you
Mm-hmm.
too.
Mm-hmm.
That was just starting. I think right around in the early '80s,
Yep.
late '70s, they were just starting to pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Because my peer group, the gangs were starting to shoot. Yeah, they were starting to shoot, but just yeah. I think the late '70s, early '80s was the transition over. Before that, you just fought it out.
Right. I mean, everyone
Yeah.
says that.
Yeah, you just fought it out. You know, the old what's the cliche? You want to give me a fair one, or
Mm-hmm.
guy being brought up in the gang, they would pick a target, go fight him. You know, which used to happen to me when my dad took me out of private school and made me go to school where he taught.
Mm.
Shoreway Mansion, and the gangs would actually use me for their peewees. You know, go beat up Mr. Sutton's son.
Get the fuck out
You
of
know.
here. How much did you weigh back then? Were you
Oh,
skinny
I was
like
tiny,
me?
dude. I was
Uh-huh.
tiny. I didn't break 130
Damn.
until 33.
Damn. Come on. Get
Yeah.
the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Wait.
You
Hold
keep
on.
saying that.
I
keep
know,
saying
because wait a minute. Quick, we're gonna go back. But so at what age did you become a SEAL? Were you already 33?
33.
You were
Same
130,
time.
40 pounds and a
Yeah.
seal?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
What do you got to do weight for? What do you
Because
need weight for?
I don't know. I just imagined you have to have a little size on you to be able to carry those. I don't know what y'all do really, but what I've seen
Carry what?
is y'all carry the boats for miles on the beach or whatever the hell. And like, there has to be something where you're carrying stuff far and you go far and like the endurance that you would have to have. Like, I understand.
I had endurance.
But it was it's a physically demanding job, no? Come on. 104, like, listen, I'm 150 pounds, soaking wet, and I have never,
Are you in shape?
yes, but not that kind of shape.
What do you mean?
I see what you're saying, but do you see what I'm saying?
I see you have a
Okay.
brick wall in front of you.
Yes.
Remove the brick wall.
All
Get
the
rid of the brick
seals
wall.
that I'm aware of are big.
No, don't even try it. Tell me which one is big.
Jocko, that big swell, he's a 200-pound little gorilla. David Goggins, he's a 6 foot something, used to be 300 pounds, lost a lot of weight, but he's a big motherfucker.
Do some research.
Okay.
Do some research. You will find majority are probably 190s, 180s.
Yeah. You were just 40 pounds less.
Oh no, that's when I first came in. I ended up
Oh, you beat
when
up?
when I retired, I was 205 pounds.
Did you see? How? What the hell? How'd that happen?
Conception of my daughter.
But you weren't fat.
Oh, all muscle.
Okay, you didn't answer my question. What the hell has your daughter got to do with 70 pounds of muscle?
I started putting on weight. I went through morning sickness and everything.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How much do you weigh right now?
You keep saying I don't weigh what I weigh.
180, you said.
170.
170.
170,
I can see
175.
that now.
Yeah. I'm small boned.
But if I walk in this room 5 years from now, 200 pounds, they're going to be like, damn, Jay.
Well, it was a progression. You're talking 80. Let me see, Mercedes was 88. So 88. And about time 88 to 98.
Mm-hmm.
It took that 10 years.
That's still wild.
Now,
And you were the same height? You were
Same
skinny,
height?
skinny. Like you were really
yeah,
skinny.
I was a rail.
That's crazy.
Run you in the ground,
Right.
bench press 325.
See, that's not normal.
Yeah,
that's
I
not
could bench
normal.
press on my last set, get it up 3 times.
No. See, you
I
downplay
could
like,
squat.
oh, I'm just stubborn. But that's not normal. People that build at that weight don't push that much weight up. That's not how. That's
If
not
you
normal.
work it and learn balance, don't pick that bar up till you got a good balance.
Dwight,
And guess where I got that from?
this motherfucker's. Go ahead.
Seeing a little. Was she Chinese or Japanese? I think she was Japanese.
Probably. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. She was Japanese. Little girl that's pressing that kind of stuff. A little girl
I feel you.
from balance. Well, they showed me the film. They showed like.
But did you have an actual, like, someone really teaching you the balance of this?
No, you had to feel it. You have to around the bar. You know, you got the notch.
Yeah.
Play around with that notch. Push a little bit, and after a while, you automatically grab it. You just like whoop, 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 and you have it. And it is that.
But most people. Okay, let's just say that it has nothing to do with physical genetics. You figured it out.
Yes,
Most people don't.
And most people. Now, I was told this. It wasn't figure it out. I was told
Okay.
you can't beat that thing.
Okay.
You have to outthink that piece of metal.
I've never heard that ever in
Right.
my life.
Most people don't look at it that way. To get up there, everyone's thinking, "Ah,
Right.
you lost."
Right.
It's feel.
Okay, here. This is to the point where if you listen to any expert on training, because I used to want to get big and want to beef up
Right.
and be able to carry a lot of weight and da 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 da. I've never heard not near one of them people say anything about balance to that extent. It's like all about repetitions and diet, this, that, and the other.
Yes.
But no one
That
has
all
been like
comes
you
in-
have
yes.
to feel the bar.
Feel the bar.
No one said that.
Yes.
No one said that.
Feel the
Only
weight.
you said that.
Right? Because when you're in gut mode, one side's going to be off.
Okay.
You lost. You're defeating yourself right there. One side is off,
Listen, I'm not here.
and it's heavier.
I'm not here, to try and convince you of your amazingness. I can't force you that.
Because it
See
ain't
that?
amazing, man.
But that's what amazing people
Now-
say.
now-
You know what tough guys say?
Listen.
I'm not a tough guy.
Jay, getting through buds was a straight fuck you. I'm not ringing that bell.
Yes. But
I went down every day, almost every day.
right.
And I looked up when they were cussing me out. Get your punk ass over to ring that damn bell, blah, 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 blah.
Right. But aren't there certain challenges that you sort of have to at least complete?
Yes, I complete the challenge.
Oh, well-
Yeah, I would complete the challenge. I mean, when they would take it,
It's not just because you didn't quit.
there's certain things that you get an understanding after a while. This is the obstacle.
Right.
This other stuff is break my will.
Mm-hmm.
The physical part is extended to find your will break.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be able to process that. You're not going to do that to me.
Mm-hmm. So do you think, and I think you said this when we talked outside of this, that the main, if there's a kid who happens to watch this who wants to become a SEAL for whatever reason, the main thing is just fuck you. Like, I'm not quitting.
No, the main
See?
first thing
See?
is you do your training.
What do you
Be
mean?
physically ready. Have your lungs ready.
What did you do to get ready?
Run.
How much? He's a runner.
Are you?
I got a question because I love seals.
Oh, yeah.
I got a question that is, I'm over here like itching because I've read tons of books
Right.
on seals or whatever. What is the mindset when you're heading into buds? Because you're about to mentally get trashed. I mean, mentally, because like you said, as far as size, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because buds, a lot of it's
Yeah,
about right
it's just
here,
the amount.
how long you can hang on.
Yeah.
What do you mentally have when you're going into that? Is there a certain focus that you have when going into buds that helps you push you through?
I'm not a racist.
This is already great.
But these white folks ain't getting me out of here.
Love it.
That was you.
Love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
You're not going to. Now, I had things that cultivated that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You're a natural rebel.
who's from Philly? This is in boot camp. This was instilled.
This
The
is just
beginning
going
of-
into the Navy.
Yeah.
Right.
This is getting instilled in me.
Mm-hmm.
Who's from. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't Philly. They said Chicago, Washington, New York City, Philadelphia. They just named these big cities
Mm-hmm.
that are predominantly black.
Okay.
Can you swim? And majority, to my surprise, were no.
To your surprise.
And I was like, I can. Step to the side. Where you from? Philly. Yeah, right. Step to the side.
Because ain't nobody from Philly can swim.
So I stepped to the side. Right? And I'm standing there, and all the rest of them, you're in remedial swimming.
Mm-hmm.
You got 8 weeks to learn how to tread water. Da-da-da-da-da.
Mm-hmm.
You. Jump in. And I ain't saving you. Matter of fact, he took the pole and he tossed it. the reach-in pole, like grab the pole
Oh,
and
you
pull
know,
you back
like,
in.
yeah. You're not getting saved.
You on your own.
Right.
He tossed the pole. Talking about you can swim. So I jumped in. Boom. I came up. Right?
Yeah.
He's looking. He just stood. He just stared at me. Right? I'm staring at him.
I wish.
Right? And the guy.
This is on video,
He,
but yeah.
he got this smile on his face. Right? He said, "All right,
Motherfucker, okay.
go ahead. Give me a lap." Right? So I gave him the lap. And I popped up. Come on back.
Uh-huh.
I swam on back. Get out. Right? I got out. Right? He said, go catch up with your company. But that put something in my head.
Yes.
Right then. Bing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I literally had to run to catch up with him,
Right.
But from there, I was like, you know what? It's all kinds of stereotypes in this crap here,
Where did you learn how to swim? Just as a kid?
Yeah.
Let me just say this. And this is just funny. I took college level swimming twice. I still can't fucking swim.
Really?
Swear to God. I took it to Morehouse and UD. And you know how you mentioned before about how black people sink?
Yeah.
Because we don't have as much body fat?
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there, I never forget that goddamn shit. I go into the pool, and this little white lady's like, oh, just lay back and you'll float.
Yeah.
Only 90,
Yeah.
90%. And I go, bloop, bloop, bloop. I'm like, I'm going to die. Bitch.
Yeah.
No, but,
It's muscle mass. We got muscle mass.
They say the black word negatively buoyant. Is that?
Yeah,
they say
we
that's
have
what
muscle.
that's
We
what-
have
yeah.
we have muscle mass. Yeah,
Funny as shit.
they got a layer of something, that makes them float.
So,
Not naturally. I mean,
No.
but the majority. I mean,
No.
I hate to put people in boxes, but
it is what it is.
yeah, it just is. And I mean, you can look at Olympic swimmers,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see, as toned as they are, there's a layer
Mm-hmm.
over that. They're not ripped.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So go back. So this is when you're building your fuck yous high. So you get out of the pool and you race off after them. Oh no. So in terms of your running, the training, what were you doing to get your air up? Like how much were you running?
Running came so natural to me, and I didn't know I had it.
Especially because you're light. It
Yeah,
had to help,
I did.
right?
I didn't know I had it.
Okay.
That also was in boot camp.
Did you play sports in high school?
Yeah, I played football.
You played
like
football?
a dumbass.
What was your position?
Like a dumbass.
No, but I played too. So
Running back.
Like
a dummy. Oh, that was so stupid.
You ever get hurt playing?
Yeah,
You did.
broke both my wrists.
Both your wrists?
Fracture. Yeah,
Huh.
trying to stand somebody up.
Oh, at 130 pounds.
Yeah, I'm like Chuck and stand his ass up.
Uh-huh. So how much running?
I didn't run then. I didn't run cross country or nothing. It was in the Navy, and
Right.
They do company against company competitions. And I'm gonna have to put it on. I was in a total almost non-athletic company. There was a bunch of MUs though. That's musicians.
Okay.
There was like four or five of us, and the Navy was breaking in. Computer World was coming in. Which I didn't even know what a computer was, but it was Computer World was coming in, and there was what were they called? Data somethings. So their acronym was D something, but there was a few of them in there in the company. So it was a lot of non-athletic people in this company, and on one of our regular daily runs, company commander happened to assess like, this guy got a decent gait. He can run. So when it was company against company, out of nowhere, I was in the 400 relay.
Okay.
Well, back then it was a 440
Yeah.
relay. And I did good.
Okay.
And he was a Filipino. With my degree, the Navy did give me E6.
Okay.
coming in the music program.
Mm-hmm.
And all those DTs, they were called, data technicians or something. They came in as E6 or E7s,
Okay.
which is, most people don't even get there till 10, 12 years
Oh, wow.
in the Navy.
Okay.
So this little E5 resented the shit out of us.
Got you.
So it was like, you're going to run. God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Something, he called me the dog. My dog, where's my dog?
Damn.
You're going to run. You're going to run the 440. You're going to run the mile. I'm
Okay.
like, dude, did you call me do it again? You know.
Right.
So I started running. And after a while, you know, I guess it's my natural thing, you know. Oh, you going to try to kick my ass at this?
Right.
You going to beat me with this?
Right.
I'm going to get good at it, you know. I started running.
So how, was it mainly
stay
distance
with-
running, like a little? 'Cause
Yeah, it was
400
always
so-
distance.
So like, how far would you run? Like, what's?
Once it was up to me,
Yeah.
but before I got into the unit, and that's how they found me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find them. I didn't seek that out.
Yeah.
They found me.
Like kids are growing up
In Naples.
wanting to be what
yeah,
you
no,
just
I wasn't
did.
one of them. I was in Naples, Italy, and they just running every day.
Uh-huh.
And I would run 10 miles at lunch.
Okay. See, you're a runner. Right?
And my goal was to get back before the child line was over,
God.
was finished. Get the 10 miles done before this hour was up.
Oh, you were a
and
runner.
eat. And that was the daily thing. It was for like 5 of us on the ship.
Uh-huh.
They did this.
Uh-huh.
So we would do this daily.
See, that's savage shit.
Yeah.
People don't. Nobody does that.
And we didn't know that it was a unit on the aircraft carrier.
Right.
So they happened to do a lunchtime run. So where we would go in Naples to do this, they looking at us.
Right.
Hey, there, look at these motherfuckers.
They're running.
They got this. I had to stay once the ship left
Okay.
on some prisoner escort stuff.
Okay.
I'm still doing my run.
Mm-hmm.
So one day I'm doing this run. I see the guys. All right, that's some guys that's always running, too. I ain't thinking enough of it. Boom, boom, boom. So they passed me. They always had a better pace than I did. But they, bye. This one day, that motherfucker smacked me in the head.
Uh-huh.
I picked up my pace.
Right.
I'm going to get you.
Right. The fuck you comes out.
I can't get him.
Oh. Okay.
No matter what happened, I can't get these motherfuckers.
Okay.
And he,
Right.
I didn't quit.
Right.
Till they stopped.
Right.
Boom. When they stopped, it was 8 against me.
Uh-huh.
Right, Nate? What?
Right. With your 140-pound ass.
I said, that motherfucker smacked me in the head. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Did you smack him in the head?
Right.
What's up?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, they,
Yeah.
come on. Nah, it's just you and him. All right.
Okay.
All right. I got tossed around. You boom, 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 boom. But, you know, I
Do something.
yeah.
Right.
They're like, yeah. All right, stop, y'all.
Right.
Stop, y'all. All right. Like, what's up with you dudes, man? Then they told me. Like, oh. Say, yeah, we ain't had to go back. What you here for, right? And I told them, we here for that too. Who you piss off? Hey, I don't know. I got to be here to be pissed because I pissed somebody off. Say, you already think so since this ain't what you do.
Right.
Right? But sure enough, the next morning, we were all in the same briefing room.
Huh.
And I was just supposed to do communications. That's while I was there. Because part of my specialty
Right.
in the regular Navy.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. Da-da-da. They convinced me, like, yo, man, you're all right.
Huh.
You should think about it. You know, da-da-da-da-da. We can get you the swim test. We can do this. Can you swim?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, I can swim. Where you from? You know, that cycle again.
Right.
Really? You from Philly? You can swim? Black guy? I'm like, yeah, I can swim.
Huh.
So we start. Be at the pool, such and such a time.
Uh-huh.
I started doing it. Of course, my swimming was behind what was needed. And it kept. I failed bus first time. Just let you know too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But you're like, nah.
But that planted the seed.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you fail the first time? What was the failure? Like, what happened?
Basic stuff. I was
Like
just couldn't go no more.
Okay.
I just couldn't go no more. You know.
So that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like you kept working. Like, it wasn't easy, and you decided you wanted it, and you kept putting in work. No, am I out of my mind here? Like you.
Yeah.
And you were
You're right.
already in really good shape.
I was in good shape. So
Oh, come on.
I took the next step. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
So what was the next step? You're already in good shape. So what do you do differently to get yourself to the next level?
One was, first and foremost, I ain't gonna quit like that again.
Okay, sure.
That was the first.
Okay.
That was the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
The second is just accept it's just pain.
That's what I hear. I mean, when I listen to people who talk about this, it's just like you just get to that point. And I mean, that point is far away, I feel like, because like I'm in decent shape, but I don't think I've ever been in as good a shape as you were when you failed. You know what I'm saying? So to get to that next level, that takes a lot.
It's just pain. It's just, that's where.
But you.
The next step is pain. I'm.
You say it casually because you got to that point, but most people don't have it.
You do it when you run. It's the same. It's the same. That run where you say, "I can't go no more." Yes, you can.
I dig it.
Yes, you can. I'm not stopping here. I'm not. I did it in increments.
Uh-huh.
I want that light post a mile down. I can see that light post. I can barely see it, but I'm going to that now. And when I get to that one, I'm gonna kick another one. I can get that next one. I can do it. Mm-hmm. And you get the next one.
Mm-hmm. It's like on one hand, anyone can do it, but on the other hand, most people don't.
Yeah, because you feel that discomfort, and that's what pain is. It's a discomfort.
Right.
It's not crippling.
Right.
It's just a discomfort.
Uh-huh.
Once you differentiate a physical problem from pain,
mm-hmm.
is this, my hips hurt. Is it dislodged? Mm-hmm. Is it out of place? My knees hurt. Is it
mm-hmm.
a problem, or I'm just hurting?
Mm-hmm.
This hurts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hurt is discomfort. That's
mm-hmm.
all it is. Just a discomfort. Now later on, you might find out
that you injured something.
Yeah, you hurt something.
Right? No, okay, I'm just curious.
I've been there. I've been
okay.
there. I've been there. I tried to run through dehydration, and I knew something was wrong. And before I knew it, I had lost total equilibrium, where everything was left.
Oh wow!
No matter what I did.
Wow.
I mean, I could turn my head to the right and say, I'm going to step to the right. And I went, what I did. And I was actually running onto an airfield.
Wow. That's crazy.
And then the idiocy of me I'm going to keep running.
Right.
and it wasn't working because I needed to get off the airstrip. So before I knew it, all the emergency vehicles were like converging on me, like, dude,
Right.
you're on the landing strip. What the fuck are you doing?
Right.
In your running shorts, you faggot.
I shouldn't be seen laughing at that. Sorry. No. So, what was the most grueling part of that training, where you were like this, this is, this is it. This is ridiculous. Like the hardest part that you can remember, just the physical part, where you were like, this is like something else.
Teamwork.
Okay.
Making sure your team came through and everybody was with you.
Getting everybody to come through.
That's
Like
the hard,
you got
that's
through
the
this, but you
hardest
got to
part.
help somebody else through.
My mindset is good for me,
Right.
but when you have to,
Get somebody else to get to that place that they might not be in.
where
Huh.
that's the hardest
Really?
for me.
Over, what was the longest stretch where you didn't sleep just during training?
Shit, I'm still here.
Huh?
I haven't got over that. I haven't got that together yet.
Okay.
That's part of my depression.
Huh.
I still haven't got over that.
Do you think that's because of the training? Like you just got used to not sleeping and your body can just manage that? That's wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Still haven't got over that. That's why the Texas, when I be like,
Yeah.
y'all be starting at 7:30, I just laid down.
Right.
I just laid down at 4:45 or something,
Right.
And I'm gonna be up at 8 anyway, 8,
Mhm.
8:30, and you guys texting at 7:30. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Got you.
What's up with y'all?
Right. So you finish buds and you graduate. Do you remember like that day? Like what did you feel?
Oh, you damn right I remember that
Right?
day.
Okay.
Oh man, I remember that day.
How did you feel? And what did you do for the next week?
Now, that's kind of a blur.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Whole lot of that.
Yeah.
Whole lot of that.
Yeah. And you feel like Superman, no?
Well, they put you in Superman. Take you over to Camp Pendleton.
Right.
Start Just start shit in the bar. Just the bass club. Just start it. You find out later it's orchestrated. They know. Here come the new graduates, and they got a platoon of whatever's their shit is. And it's funny, the Marines in the unit, in the group graduate class, they're conflicted.
About what? What are they conflicted about?
The little fight that starts,
Got you.
But
So
it's kind of a test, I think, for them too.
But like, how did you really like that day? How did you feel? Like, what was what are there a couple words if you could describe it?
I put Berkeley's graduation over it.
Okay, was it a good feeling?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it was a good feeling. It's over.
it's over. Obviously, a relief, right?
A big fuck y'all.
How much was it? Like, yeah, bitch, I
Yeah.
fucking told you. Versus, I did it.
Yeah, it was more.
It was more the fuck you.
It
I
was
did
more
it.
that
Uh huh.
you didn't get me. I mean, I had somebody standing on me every day, kicking sand at me, calling me bitch.
Uh huh.
Ring the bell, bitch.
Right.
Ring it. You know you want to. It's right there.
Right.
Drag me to it.
Uh huh.
Literally.
Uh-huh.
Ring it.
You're in the sand doing what? As an example, like just push-ups. Like,
Could have been the log. Push-ups, no. You ain't get me to quit on no push-ups.
what was the log?
A log. A tree.
What are you doing with the log?
Oh, we carry it.
So it's a team of y'all, and,
Yeah.
and you got it, and you just right. Okay.
We didn't have to curl. We didn't curl much at all.
You just got to carry the log.
Shoulder.
Right.
Shoulder a lot. Canoe carry. That was teams of 4. I was good at that stuff.
And again, you're at about 140, 150 pounds right now.
I was still, yeah,
That's crazy.
35 at best.
Come on, man. That's wild. But really cool. So, all right. What was like your first deployment as a SEAL? Your first mission, as much as you can?
Gray
I don't-
area.
What's that?
Gray area.
Cool. Gray area. Can we talk about Cuba in general?
Yeah.
Okay. How'd you like Cuba?
I like Cuba. Cuba's a nice place.
So, this is what year in Cuba? Like the 80s?
'94.
Oh, that's a totally different.
Cuban crisis.
Okay. Okay. So, how much of the real Cuba did you see?
Gray area.
Okay, cool. All right.
I saw real Cuba.
Okay.
Unauthorized.
Have you been there recently?
No.
No.
It's a plan.
Yeah.
It's a plan.
I'd like,
It's
I
a
definitely,
plan.
if you
It's
go
a
back,
plan. Yeah.
I'll at
I
least
would,
ask you how
I would
different
love
it
to
is.
go back as a trumpet player.
Right. Did you see any music when you were down there?
Yes, I did.
What was that like?
Oh,
Did you see
just-
like any real salsa, the real all that stuff?
Real-
Like,
yes, I did.
what was that like?
Overwhelming, listening to the rhythms and seeing they're Africans.
Yeah.
There was no doubt in my mind listening
Right.
to it. It was just no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Also seeing the segregation,
Mm-hmm.
just looking at that.
How much did the African Cubans consider themselves to be African versus Cuban? You know what I'm saying? Were they, I'm Cuba? Or was it like, no, I'm African.
Yes,
I'm just,
yeah,
Which?
they did.
Which one? They're Cuban?
Correct, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Afro-Cuban though, they understood that. They understood that as
Sure.
much as I couldn't talk, because I couldn't talk much,
Uh-huh.
because I was
Right.
unauthorized.
Right.
You know, shouldn't have been over there.
Right.
But that whole thing was that whole that was some weird shit there.
What was weird?
Between the military confusion, that was really the first combination of all the services
Okay.
in a complete joint effort.
Mm-hmm.
Not Air Force, you're doing this. Marines, you're doing that. Navy, you're doing that. Army, you're doing that.
Right.
It was the first try to melting pot where things were just language even made a problem. Like simple things like secure,
Uh-huh. Is it different? You mean something
two
different?
different things.
Wow.
To a Marine, secure it is tear that shit the hell up and take it down.
Okay.
We got it done.
Right.
Navy, it's clear it out, occupy it.
Uh-huh.
Pretty much almost Air Force is get a mortgage.
Okay. Cool.
So when the command comes, secure
Right.
that compound.
Uh-huh.
What are you doing, Marines?
That's actually really funny. Wow. That's funny. Yo, so how pretty were the girls in Cuba?
Beautiful. I mean,
Any like, was it any different than any other place? Or was there anything unique about them?
reminded me of Brazil.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
reminded me of Brazil a lot.
cool.
And Dominican
Same,
Republic, Puerto Rico,
Same shit.
pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
How did they in general respond to Americans? Did they have interest? They're like, fuck you, American?
At the time, it was. I mean, it was. Get me out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the whole thing. Can you get me over the side of the fence?
So a lot. I mean, so.
Can you get me to head on the line? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Stick
you
it-
hear
stick
some.
your penis through the fence. I'll do whatever.
Right,
you
right,
know,
right.
let me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they like you hear positive things about some of the stuff that Castro did there. But overall it's like they wanted to get the fuck out of there from what you saw at least. Like it's like no, we don't want to be here.
Those that I interacted with that did not had. They were on a different level.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Can we talk at all about the Afghanistan stuff with the British and all that at all? Then we'll leave
Give
it
me a
alone.
second. Give me a second. Give me
Okay.
a second. Give me a
Okay.
second. Give me a second. Let me say this.
Mm-hmm.
The Russians quit and threw it in the British lap.
Mm-hmm.
The British quit and threw it in our lap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not knowledgeable of knowing if the British went out with their tails between the Russians went out with their tails between their legs.
Mm-hmm.
The British did.
Mm.
It was a straight get me the fuck out of here. And they've succumbed to their vices while they were there.
Mm-hmm.
And the vices were readily made available.
Mm-hmm. On purpose.
Oh, sure, they do.
Right.
The Afghanis knew exactly what they were doing.
Mm-hmm. And they couldn't convince you guys. And is that just a character issue? I mean, I'm not trying to be like nationalistic, but like it's just like, nah, we're not going to fall into that.
I really don't know what. Well, I have to put something out that you're not putting together.
Okay.
I was there before America was aware.
Yeah, and
When
I know.
America was aware,
That's what I'm saying.
that's a whole different thing. Yes, we could have fell into that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. If they would have known, they might not have fallen into that, right?
No, what do you mean?
I don't know what I'm. Maybe I know. What
It
I'm-
wasn't. It wasn't a declared campaign.
Yes.
The lie about Iraq
Yes.
was just the diversion was put into place. Now we're getting into real shitty shit here.
That's okay.
The smoke was blowing up America's ass when I was there.
Yes. Yes.
You were thinking, what was the dude's name?
Bin Laden?
No,
Hussein?
Sodom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were thinking he did the Twin Towers and all that
Yes.
stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
that big lie.
Right.
That bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah. Cool. I have a question. I think you can probably answer this one. What was it about the Afghan? What is it about those people in Afghanistan that makes them so tough to conquer? Like, what is it about them?
all right,
Nobody messes with them.
J Street.
Yes.
First of all, you had to get in your head. What is an insurgent?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. From what angle, right?
Whatever.
From what
What
perspective?
is how do Americans fed the word insurgent?
I guess an American would probably define an insurgent as a someone who wants to hurt America, right? Just a rebel from a different country who wants to hurt America.
Okay,
Right.
now give me the definition of the word insurgent.
I don't know, a textbook dictionary definition of it. I'm going to make some up and probably sound stupid, but an insurgent would be someone who is basically trying to thwart the efforts of something. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like if
All right, let's go this way. Let's go this way. What's the name of your street?
What do you
Where
mean?
you live?
I live on Colonial Avenue.
Colonial Avenue. This fucking tank from this other country
Yes.
is coming down the street.
Fuck you. I'm an insurgent.
Who's the insurgent?
Exactly.
Who is it? Who is the insurgent?
The tank.
The tank! The tank!
Right. No.
Yes.
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 1,000%.
That's why they fight the way they do and do what they
But
do.
other people, some other nations have like we've won one sort of in other places, but they're like not today. It just doesn't happen. Like,
Because you're.
is it a cultural thing? Like they're not having it.
I mean,
The fuck you run stronger
they're
than two.
yes.
Yeah,
there
right.
you go. And you have so many generations of the fight
Right.
prior to us.
They're trained.
You got
to
the
do
Russians.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had the British.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we come, trying to dictate. Now, they do camouflage the real mission with Islam.
Mm-hmm.
The same as they fake the funk with us, Islam, those Islam,
It's like the war on
those
drugs.
Muslims, right? But it's not even the war on drugs.
But I'm saying like that's how you. That's a bullshit.
The whole thing is oil.
Right.
The
That's
whole damn thing is just oil.
right.
So we could drive our Mopars, and you could drive your big ass truck.
Yep.
I could drive my '93 Octane Mini Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
That's what all of it is
Mhm.
constantly about. And all the, and they just feed us religion to get us not to see the real big picture of the 1%ers again. It's like they can put people like our president in office and things like that, in which I can't imagine. I put in my papers because I was sick of Bush. I literally forced my retirement.
Mm-hmm.
I started flipping high-ranking people the bird.
Mm-hmm.
Till like they sent me off for a psychological evaluation.
Mhm.
And, like he ain't crazy. He wants to retire.
Right. Right.
He's got over 20. Retire his ass.
Mm-hmm.
But
Why didn't they want you to retire?
huh?
Why didn't they want you to retire?
Why didn't?
Yeah. Like what do you? I'm actually
I was
confused right now.
good.
Huh? Because you were good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Uh huh. Like
I was an asset. I was a good boy.
What were you really good at?
Know your business.
Okay. Quietly, Sam and I are over here like, okay, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here before we all get beat the fuck up. No. Oh, I have a question. Okay, how much, in terms of getting beat up, how much time did you spend being trained in hand-to-hand combat?
Not much.
Not much. Like, what kind of stuff? Like, what do they teach you? You know what I'm saying?
See, you are making this thing
we talk.
to this gorilla, man. I ain't no gorilla. I'm not.
I never thought you were, but it's really interesting. And we talked at least half the time about music. We talked
We did.
all right from the beginning.
We did.
But these are really
give you that.
interesting things.
Philly Street does really well.
That's kind of my point. That's what
Philly
I was going
Street
to ask.
does really well.
That's all I wanted
I
to
took
know.
this class. I took that class, and when it was spar time, Philly Street was the
Yeah,
predominant. Except I could throw a kick in there.
right. But you
I
wouldn't
could
really
throw a
do
kick
too much in
Philly Street, no, you don't kick. But I learned to follow the 1-2 with an elbow. And if that didn't work, lead with your forehead, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. But did you ever have to use that kind of stuff? Like, you didn't. How much hand-to-hand combat is there when you're actually doing what you do? Does that ever come into play? I almost feel like it doesn't even really matter outside of really
Gray area, because you say what
Yeah.
you do. What do I do?
Yeah,
What do
yeah,
I do?
yeah. All right.
What's the mission?
Just-
Find Bin Laden's and all that stuff is the glorified, publicized things. You have your go get the. Am I in a bad place here? Go get the contra informant out.
Did you enjoy any of that work? Like, was it? Did you like? This is cool. This is a cool gig.
No.
Okay, but you were good at it. Cool.
Who said that?
You.
When?
Today, like 5 minutes ago. That's why they didn't want you to retire. Sorry. Sorry you said you're good, but you did. I take it all back. I'm just saying you said it. It's on record. All right. So you retire. And at what point do you say, wait a minute. Okay. At what point do you say, I'm going back to the trumpet?
At my retirement.
Immediately. Did you miss that a whole lot? How much did you play trumpet while you were in service? 0.
I bought a saxophone my last year.
A saxophone?
Alto sax. I bought an alto sax.
How the fuck?
The whole thing didn't like smack me in the head till my retirement ceremony. And the captain that oversaw the retirement ceremony is reading this and reading that. And my wife looked over at me like, who the fuck are they talking about? My wife didn't know.
Get the fuck out of here. That's crazy.
My family didn't know.
Wow.
So it was like, what's you know.
So, I know that you don't like me throwing a mirror in front of you at this point, but like, do you understand how wild that is? It's like, well, I decided at an early age that I want to play the guitar, and I actually ended up becoming an astronaut. Like, that is wild. That's really wild and really cool. You know what I'm saying? So, how long did it take you to start to get your chops back?
Oh, that took a while.
Like, how long?
Like, I stayed in the closet 2 years.
Right.
2 years. I shouldn't have came out when I came out. But
I'm gonna join you.
Weezy hooked me up with a gig.
See, now this is where this could be a 10-hour conversation.
And I met him by happenstance. My adrenaline, I had to find something. I went out on the basketball court. It was killing my back. Said, I can't do this. Hitting the pavement was bothering my back. So running, I couldn't follow that. I couldn't follow that thing. And
so
tennis. I said tennis, and I said
Weezy
something.
got you involved with tennis?
I was introduced to. I said something to my play cousin. He says, "I know somebody." As a matter of fact, you'll like him. He's a singer.
This is
Now,
after you retire.
This is way after.
Get the fuck out. Okay, go ahead.
And
I imagine you
he
knew
says to
Weezy
me-
like as a kid playing back. Go ahead.
I did. We didn't know we knew each other.
Okay.
That came later.
Okay.
That came a few years later. I mean, years later.
Wow.
I mean, we're literally, he's giving me tennis lessons
How old
and
is he?
stuff. Same age.
We're the same age. You're the same
That's
age.
it, yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy. Okay.
And my play cousin happened to say, I know somebody could teach you tennis. And you'll like him. He's a musician. Right? And I said, okay. And he brought me here.
Okay.
He literally drove me here and introduced me to Weiss.
I have to make fun of you for this because here's what's funny to me, all right? Like, you've just come back from doing some of the most hardcore alpha male tough guy shit that you can do. And you're like, I got to get all this frustration out, son. What do I need to do? Like, I would be like, oh, I'm going to do like MMA or like fucking Muay Thai. You know what?
I told you.
Tennis.
I started. I needed to purge that dude, man. I needed to purge
Yeah,
it. I
that's
needed to
great.
purge it. I was
You
doing
know,
some bad things.
you-
I will share this with you. Not to cut you off.
No,
I will
cut me
share
off.
this. Here's my last year after the shrink said, nothing's wrong with him, you need to retire him.
Right.
This is what the Navy came up with. Let's send him back home as a recruiter. Duh. Right.
They're going to be the worst recruiter in the history of recruiters. I don't come
Right.
here. That's fantastic.
I mean, you wouldn't believe how close I should have been in jail. I really should have. Not dealing with recruits, just things that were around me and how I responded to it. Like it was a what was this thing where I had to wear the pretty white sweatshirt the Navy came out with that year with the big ram on it, Navy logo. That's great. It was beautiful sweatsuit, right? But white. The only thing blue and gold was the ram head and the blue Navy letter, blue end, right? And I'm on my way home, and when I get to the what's that exit before Naaman's, where I used to go home, Harvey.
Yeah,
that's where I made the turn.
Yeah,
go home. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm driving, had just passed Marsh Road exit, and this van comes blasting by me. No, that wasn't it. I'm going by the van. They're in the right hand, right? But I know I got to get back over to the right to get off at Harvey.
Right.
They speed up.
Okay.
Right? So I slow down. They slow down. 3 guys in this van. I'm like, why?
Right. Why me? Not today.
Yeah.
Like, hold on,
why are you doing this?
Yeah. Keep going.
So I speed up again. They speed up. Now I see the guy laughing. So I floor it. And I get in front and I slam on the brake. I'm gone now. I'm already gone.
Yeah.
I'm 100% lost. Gone. Right? This guy gets out, the driver. Oh, you want something?
Oh, God.
I don't remember nothing.
Right.
After that.
Right.
I really don't.
Right.
Except my wife's scream when I walk in the house.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm ugly red.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got no clue.
Yeah.
Zippo.
Damn.
That's when I started like, who you?
Right. But you were.
What's happening? What's going on with you? You know, I really had to take, really put my foot down. So, of course I was at the VA like, hey. But that's when I knew I had to cycle, reinvent the old Dwight. It was a conscious thing.
Yeah.
To the point, I didn't get no more haircuts.
There we go.
Nothing.
There we go.
Right. I still had 11 months left. So it wasn't a fight with that. Like, Sutton, what's up with your hair? Right. Like, what's up with it?
Yeah.
But like I went and got twisted the day after my official September 30th was my official last day. I was retired. Even though my retirement was party and ceremony was in August, my official last day was September 30th. I was sitting at a loctician's place. I had enough growth to get twisted August 1st.
Got you. Jeez, right, got you. So, kind of totally changing it, but when did you start riding motorcycles?
Oh, shoot.
Well before all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a, what you call him guy, kid.
Oh, you're a dirt bike kid.
Not dirt bike, but what do you call them? Whatever those things called.
I don't know.
They're not called dirt bikes.
Like choppers?
No, my grandpa bought them because we used them instead of horses to do the cattle in Texas.
Tractors?
No, the little
I have no idea I have no
mini
idea.
bike.
Oh yeah,
Mini
okay,
bikes.
cool.
Yeah. He
Gotcha.
had us on mini bikes instead of horses to round up the cattle and stuff. We mini biked it, so that started that.
So, keep talking about like what kinds of things did you actively do to bring back the old Dwight? Like what were the
Meat.
tennis?
Meat was the next.
What's that?
Meat was the next.
You cut out meat.
Yeah.
And
Meat-
you
meat
said
had to
that,
go.
and specifically red meat,
Yeah.
right? But because
Specifically.
you still eat fish and chicken.
At the time, I started with the red meat.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to the chicken.
Uh-huh.
And then I went to the fish.
And did you noticed the difference? Obviously,
Yeah.
that's crazy. What was it about? What changed?
You couldn't pop my cork. After like 2 years of that diet,
Huh?
it was hard to get me to respond.
Really?
Yeah, you might even be able to smack me,
Really?
and I would go, okay.
You're lucky.
You know?
I wonder what that is because
I read it. I forgot what book it was. I literally read it, and it said specifically a lot of depression, rage, anger, is in your diet, is specifically in the meats, this, that, and the other.
Well,
you know,
so there's a podcast I listen to. Long story short, is the guy went to a strictly meat diet. All he eats is meat, and he said that the one problem that he's had, there's been a lot of benefits, but like the one thing that he's noticed is he's a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
He's like a lot more aggressive, and he eats like wild game.
Yeah.
Not so much like store bought shitty meat, but like it's an interesting thing. You know what I mean?
It's kind of easy.
Huh?
It's kind of easy.
To what? Just cut it out, you mean?
Testosterone.
Oh, right. No.
Right there.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So you cut out the meat. Red meat, though. Yeah. Okay, and then what else? What else did you do? You tennis,
And you know, I gravitated to the tennis game.
start playing music again.
Start playing it again, and I mean, you see my when I can pop off at the wrong time and stuff, but
Yeah,
you know,
but it's
still a
never-
little bit there.
But you know what, dude? Like, in as much as, like, to me, like, just within the band, you're definitely my favorite character in the band because in as much as, like, you will yell, I don't think anyone has ever felt, like, scared. It's just like, yo, Dwight's pissed, and that's Dwight, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be what it is, and we're just gonna, like, that's just Dwight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I you know, it's never been like a concern. You know what I'm saying? It's just like he's high strung for
Yeah.
good reason, obviously at this point. You know what I mean? But you know, there's a reason you're the second person that I'm choosing to interview. You're just
So
really
Kate, so-
interested.
So Kay thinks I'm high strung.
Who?
That's the one I get nervous with. That I just scared that girl.
Oh
young
no,
lady.
I
No,
don't
she's
think
cool?
so.
She's
I don't.
good?
I don't think that that's an issue at all. I don't
Okay.
think anyone. No.
Yeah.
And she's unique too in her own way. So I think that she's very perceptive.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I don't think anyone who talks to you for more than 5 minutes, like you get it. You know what I mean? You're a good guy. You know what I mean? Bottom line.
Yeah, her and Kid, I get concerned sometimes. Like, did I
Nah.
put him in the wrong place?
Not at all.
And then I feel bad for a second. Just
Nah,
a second.
dude.
Just a quick second.
Nah.
Then I'm all right.
No, I like having the firecracker in there. You know what I'm saying? It's fun. You know. Yeah, I don't think it's something you should ever be concerned about from my end. You know what I mean? So, yeah. You have a really interesting story, Dwight. I think we could probably wrap it up here unless there's something you like want to say or put out there. Anything I don't know that you want to.
Well, I feel a little funny that
Yeah. You
who,
talk.
who I don't want, how and who the person I don't want people to see me as. That's why I never want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I just put it out there. You know what I mean?
Put what out there? The work that you put in and the accomplishments that you made.
That's
You don't
all.
see it that way.
That's all. That glorified.
But the thing is, it's,
Civilians don't know what really is done. Or you get that glorified. They went and got Bin Laden. They went and got. You don't know the escorting of drugs into this country.
people do
I
know.
fucked up.
People do know about that though. People know that. People understand that the CIA put drugs in the goddamn black community. That's not a secret. It's almost common knowledge at this point.
And you know who brought it? Who made sure it got here?
Yes.
Okay.
People know that. People aren't stupid.
It wasn't your conventional soldier. It wasn't.
So the thing is, Dwight, like, yes, I totally understand what you're saying about that, you know, we don't really get it. But from our perspective, either way you cut it, is you've shown a certain amount of strength and grit that most people don't have. And by
I disagree with that.
I know, but
you have it. You won't turn that switch.
People try to do what you do and they fail. That's
because
thing.
they turn the switch.
They don't have the switch.
They do. Everyone has it. Everyone has it.
Which is a beautiful insight that you could share with a lot of people. Like, you could write a book, or you could tell kids right now, like, yo, maybe I don't like what I did with my switch, but yo, every motherfucker has a switch.
Has a switch.
And you can turn that
You
bitch
gotta
on.
take
And
that choice. You have to say to yourself, straight, this is what I'm going to do despite all this. This is what, I mean, if I could do it and don't even see the light at the end of the tunnel, I didn't. I really didn't. It was defiance. Fuck you. I'm finishing this. And then when I finished it, it was like, okay, what's next? Then it's like, oh shit. So it's straight a choice. What choice are you making? And I think my stubbornness is a damnation, because it was just straight stubborn. Cut.